goodness. Alrighty then. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a game called, I've already forgotten, Incident 77, I think it's called, which is a sort of a found footage little horror game thing, as so many of these things are. Apparently, we are taking on the role of an urban explorer type, who has come to investigate a factory which has been shut down due to performing mischief, and this footage is found afterwards. Alright, I can zoom in a little bit, and presumably I can open this door by clicking instead of pressing E, because I can't read. Alright then. So, it's rather quiet. I'll turn the volume up a little bit, and hopefully get a little bit spooked and pooked later. What have we here? Some sort of machinery, and a newspaper. What does this say? I do not recognise that place. November 7th. Can I read the year on this? I think there is a year. Yes, it's November 7th, does that say 1938? It's very difficult to see. A new world in the making. Yeah, well, judging by this graphic, I'm guessing... Judging by this drawing, I'm guessing it's quite old. Reports on Grainwind production facility. In recent news, the factory has been rumoured to have poor working conditions and security regulations. Further investigations into the ongoing case proceeds as the facility is being sued for $5 million. Goodness, that's rather spooky. That was a lot of money back in those days. Well, it's a lot of money now, but you know, it was all the more back then. So I've actually played games where I have people breathe in my ear all the time and give me horrible infections. Yes, would you mind not breathing all your germs on me, mate? I literally just asked you to stop doing that, and you're doing it again. You're being purposefully annoying. Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. Would you shut up? I've actually played a few games by this developer rather, before. Trying to think of the names of some, and I can't. Basically, the VHS filter. They're the ones that look like this. They make these sort of found footage VHS filter type things, which are a bit hit and miss for the most part. But one thing you can always be certain of is that I'll mistake that for a skeletal hand coming out of the wall. One thing you can always be certain of is large file sizes with these things, because that's what VHS filters do to recordings. But, alright. Enough with the joke. Just from the game design perspective, the breathing is getting a little over the top. I'm also confused, because the time down there says it's 3 PM, and it looks like it's the dead of night outside. But alright. Can I get myself electrocuted on this dilapidated machinery, please? It would seem not. Never mind. What is this? Warning. Property protected by electronic alarm system. That was quite advanced for the time of that newspaper. But, also, wouldn't it be better to have... Was that me? That was me. I scared myself with my own footsteps. That wasn't me. You can't blame me for that one. That's nice. Is that so that later when I get chased and I'm running down the stairs I'll hear a more spooky noise? Potentially. Just a random point. Do you not think that the warning about the alarm system should be on the outside of the building, not the inside of the building? Because surely if some ragamuffin scallywag was trying to come inside of the building and break in and steal some stuff, by the time they see this sign and think, goodness, there's an alarm, I'd better not break in here. They've kind of already broken in and the alarm's gone off. Or am I the only one that sees a problem with this? Right, never mind. Let us continue on our journey and see if we can find whoever that was that was screaming so much. Again, you'd think this sign would be near the front door, not on the 4th floor. But, what do I know? Here is another newspaper. First English newspaper starts in Moscow. That sounds interesting. Work-related death incident reports at... Do you mind trying to read the paper? I'm not making it very easy on me. What did this say? Grainwind production factory, a worker has lost his life this weekend. I read that as a worker has lost his wife this weekend and got a bit confused. When an oil canister exploded nearby here while he was working on an elevator shaft, the explosion proved to be fatal as the man fell to his death while lit on fire and was dead before he even hit the bottom of the elevator. Our condolences go out to his family. Further investigation into the facility's safety measures await. Interesting. So is that where we are then? Because why would they be reporting on what is a relatively, not to downplay the death of the man, of course, but is a relatively small news story? I imagine that must mean that we are in Moscow. Otherwise, why would a Moscow newspaper be discussing it? But alright. I do like the skybox. It reminds me of Concluse, which is always a good thing. Right. Let's see what we can find on the next floor. We can find some writing. Some writing I can't read. No, I cannot read a word of that. Hopefully, it's nothing vitally important that I need to read. Oh, you want me to go up the elevator shaft, do you? Can I crouch and go inside? Yes, I can. Can I fall off? Yes, I can, and somehow that didn't kill me. Alright. I need to get on the ladder and go up, it seems. Except I can't look around when I'm here, so I have no idea when I'm finished. I'm just going to keep on going up until I bang my head into something. Alright, here we are. Hi. You seem oddly familiar from somewhere. You don't. I'm guessing you were the owner? Or the manager? Or the poor soul unfortunate enough to get a job here? More writing. It looks different to what was said before. But, I'm sorry, I thought I could recognise one English word amongst that, but no, I couldn't. I can just recognise how much litter there is about here. Everything's gotten rather quiet all of a sudden. What on earth is this? Oh, this is... I have no idea what this is. I have seen this before. Obviously, it's something to do with the Soviet Union, judging by that logo in the middle. I don't know what that stands for. But I feel like I have seen that before, written on sort of, or placed rather, not written, on sort of industrial things in the Soviet Union. Alright then, what do we have here? More machinery, presumably. This is an odd factory in the sense that everything still seems to be working even after all these years. Everything seems to go on in these tiny little rooms. Where I come from, factories have like big factory floors where they do things like make cars and stuff. I read that as nope originally, as if someone had just come in here and said, "Nope, I'm not having none of this." Oh, and this has led me here again. Oh, interesting. So I've just sort of looped around a little bit, haven't I? Alright, fair enough. What now? Do I go back downstairs? Oh, that noise. That noise doesn't appear in every other horror game I play. It's a decent quality bit of noise, but still. Goodness, this newspaper must be depressing. It's even got the shelving units crying. A bunch of residents have been having the same recurring dream. They say an abandoned factory involved with extreme terror and darkness haunts them. Woman, would you get a tissue and calm down? Seems she didn't want a tissue, it seems she wanted to give me a kiss. Alright, that makes a nice change from what most women... Never mind. People are calling this a shared waking experience, which is the root of most dreams in a waking experience that your brain may be struggling to work through. Then in order to share a dream with another person, you most likely would need to experience or see something together. However, none of these people have ever met each other. Definitely a strange event for this week's top story. Curious. Oh, and here is another person. It looks like they've just wandered out of a late 60s guitar band. In case you're wondering, I'm I'm wondering why I didn't see this was here before. In case you're wondering, when I go down the stairs, I'm not moving the camera down. It does that on its own. It's a thing these games do from time to time, which is an interesting effect, but it's also a little confusing, a little disorienting. But one supposes that's the point. Alright then. Let me... I misread that sign as well. I've got to start reading slower. It's ridiculous. Does this give us access to another part of the factory? Perhaps a slightly larger floor. Is there someone standing over there? Is that like, there's the bonce. There's the shoulders. Here there's the bodice. Well, I can't see anything here to defend myself with. Other than a bucket. No. It wasn't a person. I was looking at that. I thought it was a person, but really, it was just another bit of machinery. Oh, the person was behind there, and I was so busy looking at the machinery that wasn't scary, I missed the thing that actually was scary. I do apologise. I am not being the brightest spark in the engine at the moment, and for that I can only extend my most extensive condolences. It would seem I'm slightly too tall to fit through here, however, which is a bit of a shame. And I can't get these slats off. So we might have to turn around and go back and see what is waiting for us. Other than more of that infernal crying noise. Alright. I'm sorry, what was that? What is it? I feel like I haven't seen most of the jump scares in this game, and the jump scares which I have seen I've sort of still not seen them because it's so dark. This is strange. We passed this bit of the elevator about 5 floors ago. So this is interesting. I must say it's changing the world in a much more subtle way than I would have expected. Normally when games sort of change the world when you turn around or whatever, they do it in a much more overt manner. But I appreciate a little subtlety with these things. So that's nice. Is this newspaper the same as before? I reckon it is. Alright then. Let's continue our journey down and see if we can find the exit to this place. I don't remember a room with a big hole in the floor. I really don't remember a room with a big hole in the floor. And I felt like I checked every single one of these rooms as I came down. I feel like extra rooms are being tacked on as I go, which implies some very quiet builders are working here, which I approve of, because goodness knows most builders aren't quiet. Right then, I mean, you know, sort of goes with the job, but I made a hobby out of complaining about random things. So what's that? Oh, that's just like a little red light, isn't it? Like an alarm light, and it's just the VHS filter that's making it look a bit screwy. Alright, nothing to be worrying about, just a screwy light fixture. Have we been in here? Oh yeah, this was the room with the big pillar in the middle, which never made much sense to me. Since it doesn't seem to be providing much support. Alright, I reckon we've reached the ground floor again. The question is can we go out? No. I have pushed my face into the boards and have succeeded in nothing at all. Alright. Oh no, that wasn't a flashlight, it was just a lamp. Alright then, it would seem that I've made an absolute moron of myself by going all the way down when I don't reckon that's what I was meant to do. Who just cocked a gun? Do you mind not doing that? I find that vaguely threatening. Good afternoon. That was a little cheap, but I guess you can get away with it. The problem is I don't know whether I'm meant to go up or down. Am I meant to leave, or am I meant to stay here and look for a different exit? I guess I'm going up simply because the stairs are quieter when you go up than when you go down. But, what is that noise? It's like a half-hearted air siren. Could be some engines, but it doesn't seem like it's sort of coming and going enough to be an engine. Maybe I did miss that room because I was too busy looking at all the silly signs. Maybe that is the reality of the situation. Maybe I should go up to the roof and have a look around. I feel like if there was anything making any funny noises, I might be able to hear about it on the roof. Oh, and this is why I missed all of these floors, because I went up the ladder, didn't I? Yes, and there were actually 2 rooms like this. Alright, the game isn't changing on me. I'm just making my own demons and getting scared by them, because I'm getting confused by things that ain't there. Oh, hello. So that's where you were all this time. Good afternoon. Again with the big kisses, madam. I know I'm an urban explorer, and you know that obviously makes me irresistible. But at the same time, I'm a bit confused by your advances. I'm also confused by the presence of this English word here, when everything else is written in Russian. Well, the signs aren't. The signs aren't written in Russian, but most of the graffiti has been. She's a bit confused by that word. Why was she sitting there crying by it? Was this man perhaps overcome by lust, and that woman was his wife? Perhaps he was an adulterous sort? Did I read this one? Ongoing lawsuits proceed towards Grainwind even facility, as the CEO and owner of the facility is going bankrupt. In other news, production and processing of produce has halted by 70%. The factory has not met protocol or ongoing standards. Further involvement into the matter awaits. I like it that she's just vague enough to not make sense, but be just curious enough to be interesting. Alright, can I get back on the ladder? Yes, I can. I also like that it's capable of saying both come down and come up, which is nice. But, yes, I feel like the woman is unlikely to have been a sort of a worker, like the worker that died in the elevator shaft, for example. Oh, that's why the woman jump scared me when I was here, because I was right underneath her. Oh, I see. I had a woman on top of me, and then she tried to kiss me. That would be nice if that happened. Right, never mind. I feel like, you know, a factory in the Soviet Union, probably a relatively long time ago, would, it would be unlikely, not impossible, but probably unlikely that there would have been many female employees there. So I feel like it's more likely that she was, more likely that she was some sort of friend or relation or weekend vacation of the owner, who I presume is the suited man with his rope round his neck. Right, this is one of those games where you press crouch once and you crouch, you press it twice and you prone. I'd forgotten that our developer does this. Right, further tragic news about Grainwind, I still cannot get the name of this right to save my life. Production facility. Due to being overworked and working upwards of 100 hours a week, workers have become ill this week, and an even worse fate occurred. A young man jumped from the railing of the silo area of the facility. The man was killed in an incident, and his family are heartbroken. They are blaming the facility for causing him to do this. The facility CEO has not spoken yet, but interviewers are trying to get him. Yes, I reckon the man in the suit is the CEO. It's a depressingly real concept, however, people being literally worked to death. I remember watching a news report about a sort of a working company in, I can't remember where, or somewhere in Asia, where people were literally getting up, going to work, coming home, going to sleep, and then getting up and doing it all over again. And in the end, people were living their work, and in the end, they got very depressed and ended up committing suicide. It was a very, very dark and tragic situation for anyone to be involved in. Most of all, the workers. But, it's a scarily real concept that some companies and some corporations work their people that hard. Emergency exit, do not block. Oh, this you mean? It'd be rather difficult to block this. I mean, also, is this health and safety compliant? I feel like it's very easy to fall off here. One lost move and you're dead. Goodness. As evidenced by my wandering around and failing to notice some things, one of the things I like about this game is that there are actually a few sort of missable spooks, as it were. There's a few things that you can quite easily not see if you're not actually paying attention and being particularly circumspect. But alright, let's go down here because I feel like we're slightly less likely to fall to our death. At least immediately if we're inside a building instead of outside one. Alright, where am I? Oh, I'm inside the silo. Oh, that's interesting. There's another newspaper here. The facility produces 10 tons of processed grain every month. That doesn't seem like very much. The use and purpose of the 10-12 grain silos at Grainwind is part of the farming process, which is to store excess grain product. This can be used and sold commercially in the future, as the company is off schedule in its production. Food regulators and factory inspectors have been called to the facility. Oh, right. It's gotten very quiet all of a sudden. Can I crouch and go under this? Yes, I can. Can I go out here? Maybe, if I sort of crouch and jump, perhaps? No, I'm not convinced I can make my way out here. Alright, let me go back up and we'll go down the side of the building and see if we can get to the other side of this. Because the other ladder, I reckon, is just, yeah, it's just over there, so we should just, oh no, just over there, rather. So it should be just outside the silo. So, let's see what we can find here and sincerely hope that nobody knocks us off as we go. But that kitty, and this doesn't seem safe. And not at all. Kitty, it's like Dunwich balls. And a problem with railings as well. Oh, these must be all those silos they were talking about. And this must have been where the man jumped off. Because goodness knows it wouldn't be difficult from here. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, was that the man's body falling off? I don't generally approve of games that, when a jump scare happens, sort of take control of the camera and make you look at them, but you have to admit there would be certain advantages when the player is as stupid as I am. Hello, sir. You seem like a happy worker, please. Please don't go the way that everyone else did. You deserve better than that, mate. Alright then. One supposes I'm going up this ladder? Or down it? I don't know. Let's just go up. It's probably not very safe, and I can see the grand total of absolutely nothing. But here I am. Where am I now? Is this the one that we saw at the beginning? Yes it is. Well, that's new. So we went over there, we went down. That's new as well. Went over there, we went down, we came across underneath the silos, which presumably is what these structures are built on top of, and then we came back up. Right then, what's this? This is like my first attempt at building a pentagram. Alright, fair enough. And the breathing has returned. I hadn't actually noticed that had stopped, but I was grateful that it had stopped. Alright, do we have another one in here? I find myself wondering whether there's actually more parallels to Dunwich Balls than I realised. Whether perhaps the CEO was working people to death. Perhaps he was working people to death on purpose. In the hopes of them dying. Or possibly they weren't suicides, possibly they were murders. And he was doing it to sacrifice them for something. I thought I saw a face in the window then, but no such luck. Alright. Alright, is this the same as before? I reckon so. Alright, now the world is actually changing a little bit as I go along. Couldn't tell if that was a bloodstain or a bit of rubble. Easy mistake to make in a place like this. Oh, that's the alarm that's gone off. There's a lot of stuff falling off the roofs here. I'm not convinced it's in fact, I'm not convinced any of this is health and safety compliant. No, I don't reckon I can. Alright, is that it? Must have zoned out while playing the tape I found in the attic. I had the craziest dream that I was exploring some place called Grainwind. What a nightmare. I'm glad I'm okay. Oh. This is me. I am in charge of this scenario. I'm sorry, what? Oh, that's a rug! I'm in a room. Sorry, for some bizarre reason, you should have left the tape alone. What's with the graffiti on my television? What's with the... Oh, good afternoon. Nice wine rack. Perhaps I should leave. I think I've overstayed my welcome for movie night. I've definitely overstayed my welcome for movie night, kitty. Can I take the tape out and give it back to wherever it came from, please? Can I leave? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Alright, is that it? Ending 2 of 3. Apartments at 77th Street. How interesting. A table was recovered from the apartment on 77th Street after a missing person report was filed to the local police. After a 25-year-old woman in distress reported the incident, but did not know any information besides the person being missing. At the scene for potential kidnapping, the forensics and police could oddly not find much evidence. It was as if the person living at the address had disappeared into thin air. The only obvious detail left was writing on the wall, in blood, saying you should have left the tape alone. The blood has yet to be analysed by forensics, but obviously somebody did not want this person to view the footage. A tape containing a person filming and exploring within an old abandoned factory was still within the VHS player, and the tape had finished playing. Police and forensics will investigate the scene and analyse the tape. Further information awaits as the case proceeds. The police suspect a cult may have been involved with the case. The Grainwind factory could have important clues, therefore the building will be investigated thoroughly. Well, that's very interesting and very unusual, and it's nice that the VHS filter has gone for a minute, because my eyes were starting to ache after 30 minutes of that. That's interesting. To my knowledge, this is the first game by this person, at least of the ones that I've played, that has multiple endings, so that's very interesting. I wonder how you would have got the other endings, because it doesn't seem like there were many choices that I could make. I feel like maybe I could have avoided seeing the body of the CEO, and perhaps avoided seeing or bumping into the woman that was standing next to that word on the wall. What else could I have done or avoided? Because I feel like I was just walking around a lot. It's not like there were many choices I could make or decisions that I was responsible for. But I'm quite curious to know what the other endings would be. Because you think... I don't know, with 3 endings, that seems like a sort of a bad ending. Because something very bad happened to me. I wonder whether there was perhaps some way that while you're watching the tape, you can sort of change what happened, sort of change the story. Like if you somehow correct what happened, like if you could somehow disperse the cult or prevent the ritual from taking place, then whatever demon was involved in it wouldn't be around to screw up your day in your apartment, and then you might get a slightly more positive ending. I feel like I just have this funny feeling like the first ending is just to do with you just dying while playing the tape, rather than getting to as far through it as we did. But again, I'm not sure how you would die unless you try to jump off as well. That's curious. Yeah, I wonder if you can jump off the building. I'm actually going to test that. It's a bit dark, but I'm just going to test it. I'm just going to play through the game again and get us back to that point where we were wandering around the silos, but we saw that man in the hard hat and the high visibility jacket through the window. Because there were some gaps there in the fence. I'm just curious to see whether it's possible for you to jump off and maybe get a different ending from doing that. So, give me a moment and I shall see what I can manage. Alright, I think there would have been an opportunity or two around here. Recording ended. Okay, so that is that's sort of an ending. So it is possible to get yourself killed by falling off the building, but that doesn't seem to be one of the three canonical endings, if you like. So that is interesting. I do wonder how you do get the other endings and why they are, whether there is a sort of a good ending or a more positive ending, and precisely what you do to earn them. But most mysterious. For the most part, I actually quite like this. Yeah, it's relatively subtle and a little bit more relaxed than I'm still clicking and doing that. It's a little bit more subtle and relaxed than most of these sort of found footage horror games are, because found footage is it's one of those things that people go to when they you know, when they want to make a game but they don't have too many ideas about what they actually want to put in the game, and they're almost looking for a sort of a template to use. Found footage is one of the ones that they often go to. That's not to discredit people that use found footage a lot, or that or to say that found footage can't be spooky and fun, because for the most part it often can be. But I'm just pointing out that there are a lot of bad found footage horror games out there, but this is not one of them. I quite like this one. It's got quite a nice dirty grungy environment that's just similar enough to be confusing, but also just, I'm still clicking, but also different enough to be interesting and a little bit spooky, particularly as you progress further up, with a mysterious little story that it tells relatively lightly, without so much detail that bogs it down or slows the game down, but also not so little detail that it seems surface level and dull. And yes, I quite like it, and I'd like to know how you get the other endings and exactly what they are, and whether there's a more positive one. I mean, I doubt they all lived happily ever after and went off to get a biscuit after watching the tape sort of ending. After all, this is an indie horror game, but yeah, I rather like this. Quite high quality, quite interesting. Let's go and get another kiss, shall we? Let's have a kiss as soon as I can figure out where the kissing person is. Where is kissing person? What have I done with her? Where have I left her? Ah, she's not there. I think she's on the next floor. Kissing person. What's with all the broken glass as well? Assuming that she's not just some random person that's been added into this, and I doubt that she is, I find myself wondering whether in reality well, I mean, this sort of discredits the theory a bit, but I wonder if perhaps instead of being the CEO's wife or anything, whether she was perhaps the mother of one of the workers that died here, or possibly one of the wives of the workers that died here, perhaps. And she's sort of, her soul has gotten trapped here somehow because she was never able to leave this place due to her son or husband or whoever dying here. I've never been here before. We didn't see this place before. This is on top of those little buildings where we found the little pentagrams. This is interesting. I don't think there's anything up here that you can do, or anything you can see exactly, but this is interesting. Should we catapult ourselves off into the wild dark yonder and see if see if we can find anything? We probably won't, but in terms of finding anything rather. But yep, didn't work. But there was a way you could get into one of those other rooms there, which is interesting. But yeah, I quite like this. It's quite high quality. It's a little bit spooky, a little bit unusual. Obviously the jump scares are a little bit basic. They would benefit from a little bit of work. But other than that, this is quite fun. So I rather enjoy playing that, and I hope you did as well. So thank you very much for joining me this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Look after each other, and good night.